This is my review for episode 6 of The Promised Neverland, and today I will be using a different approach to present to you my analysis for this fabulous series. So let's begin. Episode 6 of The Promised Neverland is divided into two portions. Basically, we have the portion where Norman Ray and Emma are discovering some secrets on the bookplate or on the bookshelf that Emma knew about. And what I want to point out is that Emma and Ray and Norman, they went to this library. In the anime version, the library seems little, even though because of the medium that it's broadcasted in, the library is somewhat a little bit like secluded, even though the color schemes affect the atmosphere of their environment. I really love the library that was shown in Posca de Mizu. As look at that library. Just when you enter the library when you see the library in the manga, it's stacked up with books. It's filled up with books up to the rooftop or the ceiling. And then Posca de Mizu even explained that in one of her author's notes in volume 2, I think, where the library is like in a circular form up to the ceiling, where it's vaulted to the ceiling. And I really just want to just get into the book itself, get into the manga, and just enter the library itself. It's so fabulous. I wish they return that concept in the anime in future arcs, or even like when they revisit the library again in future arcs. I wish that in the manga it will be relevant in their destinies. I heard a theory that the library, somewhere in the library, there's a tunnel or a secret doorway to enter the human world. I don't know if that's true, but it's just a theory that I've heard that was speculated when I was reading some of the TPN theories in Tumblr blog. As you can see, the library is not that inviting in the anime, because it's its frame is not the way that it's presented, latitude version, like that. It's not very inviting. But when I look at the library at the manga, and this 2-page comic panel just invites you, and it's very refreshing to see that. Anyway, that's the start. That's the first half. This is just the beginning of the first half of the episode. The highlight of this episode is like finding out Ex Libri or William Minerva's bookplate or labels that Norman was reading via Morse code. When I found out Morse code, what it is, how it's used, I didn't even know what it's for. I didn't even know that it's a real thing, but it's actually a real thing in our life. And I read in Wikipedia that Morse code was actually used in SOS situations to communicate certain circumstances that are dreadful, so that they can communicate for help, so that soldiers in historical eras can communicate for help. And I really love how Kaio Shirai used the same method, Morse code, so that it can fill the adventures of these kids. Another thing that I would like to highlight about Morse code and how Emma discovered the book plates is that she's not actually the one who discovered it, but it's Phil who discovered the Morse code. And it's very interesting because in the manga, the book where Phil discovered the Morse code, it has a picture of a ship. And I believe there's also a blog in Tumblr where they highlighted the importance of ships in the series, that it can be used as an escape route for the cattle children to transverse or to cross to the human world. I'm not sure about that theory, but I have been seeing a lot of ship references, or like big ship references or seal references in the manga, and it's hinted throughout the first arc, maybe in the cover chapter art. Even the ocean is heavily referenced. I believe that there's a blog in Tumblr in TPN where that theorizer expresses his concerns that the demon world is underneath the ocean or underneath the sea, and that's where the kids are. And to cross to the human world, they have to go to the ship, jump to the ship, and cross to the human world. It's just a speculation, but it's really interesting how they are using the ocean or the sea as the place where the demons are, because there are also several sea creature references in the manga or in the series. Muhika, the demon, the petite demon, they're gonna meet later on. She has an outfit that is like scale like, meaning like it's reference to her being a fish like demon or a reptilian demon. Songju, who is with Muhika, has a fish bone to clip his coat. I'm sorry, because at the beginning of this recording, I didn't warn about spoilers, but right now I'm sorry because I'm discussing spoilers right now, and also like future plot points that are relevant in future story arcs. So I'm very sorry if you got spoiled and I wasn't able to warn you earlier. Anyway, some of the highlights here, like Dawn's facial expression in the anime is much more severe, much more traumatic compared to the manga. In the manga, it's a little bit comedic how Kayo Shirai and Pascal Demisu presented the presentation of Little Bunny. When Don discovered Little Bunny in the manga, he grabbed Little Bunny and was shocked, of course, but because the manga is black and white, it cannot portray the fear and trauma, unlike the anime, whereas in the anime you can really see the fear and shocked eyes that Don felt. He's traumatized when he saw Little Bunny, and the other toys that were in that in Mama's Isabella's secret room are horrifying. Their existence in that secret room alone signifies to Don and Gilda that the kids, they didn't leave with their toys, and it's very disturbing and shocking. And this is what I love about the first series, the first arc of the series. It has this dreadful, traumatic experience or horrific experience that this is the world that they're living in. This is Gracefield Orphanage. It's an illusion. Living in this quote-unquote paradise is an illusion. And the dark secrets of this room hidden in Mama Isabella's secret basement or hideout is just one of the secrets of this fabulous series. That's why I love analyzing series as dark and as gory and macabre as TPN, because even Pascal Demisu mentioned in her maybe one of her author notes or in one of the interviews that she loves drawing dolls. And now like TPN being made from 2016, she has had the opportunity to draw as many dolls as she can. Even like there was an interview about her that she was drawing dolls, maybe a picture of herself as a doll or something like that. But it's very fabulous that she's able to incorporate some of her artistic work in the anime or in the manga. Rei's facial expression when confronting Emma about what's her basis, that the books that they found is gonna be a guide, like that facial expression of Rei, I really missed that. He's not as super comedic in the anime, much even less in the manga, because in the manga I see him as more mature for his age. But I really love his facial expressions when he made these silly expressions to Emma. I really love Rei's character progression. Many people did sideline Rei as a supporting character in the future arcs, but let's face it, Kayo Shirai in the draft of TPN, in the 300-page draft of TPN, when he first wrote the series back in 2013 December, or even like before December 2013, maybe around 2012 or 2011, he mentioned that many characters died. It's supposed to be a one-shot. I guess that's the reason why Kayo Shirai just planned a one-shot for TPN, but it's too big for a one-shot, so he brought 300 pages of the draft to the editorial department of Shonen Jump in 2012, but he was like rejected because his artistic style is not up to par or is not very well excellent. He tried again on December 2013 around his birthday, or on his birthday he brought it to the editorial department, and then the editor Sugita-san is very impressed by Kayo Shirai's work, about how Kayo Shirai is very talented, and that's what I believe continues me to impress about people like Kayo Shirai, who perseveres. I know he had a corporate job before, and he left all that just to pursue his dream. And oh my gosh, like now, 18 million copies are in circulation for TPN, and it's very amazing how this series is just like leaving breadcrumbs for the children, for readers like us, for viewers like us to explore this series in depth. And I'm thankful, very thankful that he is able to contribute such a massive series to this world. He can communicate his intentions through a manga series like this, and even a reader or a viewer like me is very impressed by this series. Phenomenal reach to audience. Moving on, I love episode 6 because of the confrontation that Don had with Emma. I've been rewatching the anime episodes over and over again, but I watch both dub and sub because I really love the confrontations and the hype that is built around the kids and how they are confronting the society around them when Don discovered that the truth about the orphanage. He punched Norman, Ray, and Emma. In the manga, Don was stopped by Gilda. Gilda is kept saying, "Don, please stop," but Don just. He's very frustrated and he's taking out on the trio his anger. He doesn't want to deal with this and he's trying to acknowledge it or process it in his brain, but his body language is saying that he rejects the very idea. He doesn't accept the idea that Connie was dead. It's still very hard to process. Having found out about the dark secrets of the house, who wouldn't be frustrated? I can relate to Don most likely at this point because of his frustration about being powerless and unable to do anything, and how other people like Emma didn't have faith in Don or Gilda. But that's the reason why I love the character developments on these two supporting characters, because their character progression is complex and dynamic, and layers of character developments are inserted into their humanity and their passion to save Connie, to save other people, or to save other kids. As viewers, we don't know how other kids were led to their deaths, but just seeing Connie alone, that one child on episode 1, is enough to cringe the viewers, or it's enough to make the viewers fearful or make the readers fearful about the future for these kids. Dawn crying outside with a moonlit night is so awesome and emotional. I really love how the anime approached this, because in the manga, Dawn just went around the hallway to cool off his head, but I really love how they did that in the anime. Even though it's outside, it's very being outside with the moonlit like that, and Don crying over Connie's death and his powerlessness and helplessness brings out the emotions to a very heartfelt level where the viewers are immersed onto his experiences and tears. I really love how Ray apologized in this to Don, because he remembered how he tried to frame Don. So it shows a subtle character development on Ray's side, which viewers should be proud of, or anime manga readers should be proud of. Emma and Norman being discussing about future plans, how to distract Mama Isabella, is done in a scenery where the background music is a little bit serious, with a little bit of Emma's sorrow or sadness background music, but toned in a different way, because they're having a serious talk in here. I really love the dynamic between these duo, Emma and Norman. We know that Norman likes Emma and Norman has been following Emma around. Future relevant plot point, future story arc. So please be warned that I'm gonna be saying a spoiler right now. Who would have thought that Norman is gonna be a very intimidating character in future story arcs? I hate him as an antagonist. He's the best antagonist, to tell you the truth. He's the best antagonist in the series for me. I hated him so naturally, more than Andrew, the soldier who is a maniac who tried to kill the cattle children, more than Queen Ligua Valima, But I know, but it's so hard to hate Norman because we know how he started in the series. We know he was a supporter. He's an ally of Emma. He follows her all around, and it's so difficult to hate him because Norman is experimented in Lambda 7214, and we know that it's his determination, his twisted opinion about changing the world that made him decide that demon extinction is the best optimal solution to fight the demons, to get them rid of this Neverland. And even Norman admitting to himself, like, Ray, you're amazing. He's underneath Ray's bed is a pack or a stack of light fuel or gasoline to fire the house, to light up the house. My goodness, uh it's very furious. Like, I guess you can say the word to describe Ray is intimidating, scary, insane. Because who would have thought that an 11-year-old has the ideas of self-immolation? Maybe because he's punishing himself, he hated himself. My goodness. And we know that in future arcs, Ray is gonna Ray's character progression just move from an emo boy, emotional boy, to one of the characters supporting or following Emma all the way, even though he's sidelined as a character because Kaio Shirai really doesn't know how to develop Ray. He planned to kill Ray off in the first arc of the series, but that was too dark, so he let him and the other kids in Gracefield Orphanage, he let Ray and the other kids in Gracefield Orphanage live their lives. So Isabella is as intimidating as ever. Her smile is fake as always. We know that. She's a sympathetic villain. She's a sympathetic antagonist. You'll understand why. I won't spoil it for you anymore. And Crone is better actually for me in the manga because in the anime, they made her super silly. They made her sillier. In the anime, they made her sillier and more comical, whereas in the manga she has a very serious tone. So that's my review for episode 6 of The Promised Neverland. Please let me know what you think, and if this is a better way to present the anime review. Thank you so much and have a great day.